Beneath a home in Hampshire, something had been spreading for years without anyone knowing. When bamboo rhizomes finally cracked through the concrete floor, the damage exceeded 100,000 pounds. The species responsible, a giant bamboo originally from Brazil, is now planted across millions of English gardens. And what scientists are just beginning to grasp is how far this silent invasion has already gone. Richard first noticed something was wrong when the floorboards in his Hampshire home began to lift. What looked like a minor swelling turned into a nightmare over the next few weeks. Contractors pulled up the laminate and found thick bamboo shoots pushing through the concrete slab, weaving through insulation, and even splitting the cavity wall. The roots had crept in from his neighbor Thomas's garden, crossing the property line underground, undetected for months. By the time the full extent was revealed, bamboo had invaded the living room, kitchen, study, and hallway, forcing Richard to evacuate sections of his own home. Emergency engineers traced the culprit to a dense mass of Philostachys rhizomes. Their report described how the roots had forced apart the slab, causing cracks that threatened the structural integrity of the house. The only solution was to dig up the entire ground floor, over 1.2 cubic meters of tangled roots and soil. This meant lifting every last tile, ripping out skirting boards, and excavating 2 meters down along the perimeter. ABC Structural, the contractor, spent weeks removing the bamboo, then poured new concrete and reinforced the foundations with steel piles. The bill for this operation exceeded 100,000 pounds. Insurance covered most of it, but Richard was left with legal fees, temporary accommodation costs, and the stress of a drawn-out dispute. Tomasz denied responsibility, arguing he had followed normal planting practice. The case never reached court. Instead, both parties settled after months of negotiation. But the emotional toll lingered. Richard described the ordeal as devastating, warning other homeowners that bamboo's real danger is what happens before you ever see a single shoot indoors. In Victorian England, the hunger for exotic plants was more than a passing fad. It was a national obsession. By the 1850s, wealthy collectors and botanical expeditions were shipping live bamboo culms and seeds from China and Japan back to British ports. The first shipments of Philostachys, described in Royal Horticultural Society catalogues from the 1860s, promised the tallest of all grasses and an air of oriental mystery for the English estate. At Kew Gardens, bamboo became a showpiece, a living emblem of global reach, while nursery giants like Veitch and Comte and Hillier and Sons began offering potted specimens to the public. Their catalogs, now preserved in horticultural archives, boasted rapid growth and year-round greenery, urging buyers to plant for screening and windbreaks. The appeal quickly filtered down from aristocratic gardens to middle-class homes. By the early 20th century, bamboo was a fixture at Royal Horticultural Society exhibitions, its towering canes drawing crowds of amateur gardeners eager to replicate the look. The plant's reputation as a low-maintenance solution for privacy and shelter only grew. But the warnings, often buried in fine print, about the need for deep trenches or containment barriers rarely made it into popular gardening advice. A new wave of popularity arrived in the 1970s, as garden centers like Wyvale and Dobbies rolled out potted running bamboo for suburban buyers. Trade magazines advertised its meter-a-day growth, but rarely mentioned what happened when those roots escaped. With millions of specimens sold and planted across England, bamboo's underground network was quietly expanding. Each new planting, whether in a grand estate or a modest back garden, added to a hidden legacy, a living time bomb waiting for the right conditions to detonate. Beneath the surface, Philostachys operates in silence. Its rhizomes, thick, pale, and surprisingly strong, move laterally through the soil, weaving a web that can run up to 9 meters in a single season. Above ground, a fence or a neat border might seem like a barrier, but underground, these runners slip beneath concrete, under patios, and straight through garden boundaries. The Royal Horticultural Society's own guidance warns that most running bamboos can cover 3 meters or more each year, with exceptional cases reported at 9 meters. This growth is almost impossible to track until the first shoots break through, often far from where the original plant was set. Dr. Peter Fitzsimons, a consultant in invasive plant management, describes the plant strategy as stealth colonization. He points out that rhizomes can reach depths of 1 to 2 meters, easily bypassing shallow barriers. Standard garden advice often suggests plastic or HDPE sheets, but Fitzsimons notes that anything less than 65 centimeters deep is a gamble. Even then, the barrier must be thick, seamless, and left protruding above the soil to prevent rhizomes from arching over the top. In practice, many installations fail, either because the barrier is too shallow, the seams are poorly joined, or the homeowner underestimates the plant's determination. Containment is possible, but only with constant vigilance. Annual inspections, root pruning, and immediate removal of stray shoots are essential. Neglect, even for a single season, can turn a manageable clump into an underground network spanning multiple properties. The real danger is not what you see, but what you do not. The silent expansion that can turn a garden feature into a 6-figure liability before anyone realizes what is happening. Clusters of bamboo are beginning to surface in places no one expected. Public parks, railway embankments, and council scrubland are far from the neat lines of suburban gardens. Environet UK's field data points to more than 300 locations in southern England alone where bamboo has taken root beyond private property. Conservation biologists warn that these sightings are only the visible tip of a much larger, subterranean network. The plants, rhizomes, unchecked by fences, travel beneath footpaths and through disturbed soils, surfacing in green spaces that were never meant to host them. Unlike in its native Brazil or East Asia, where insects, rodents, and fungi keep bamboo's growth in check, England offers no such resistance. Native wildlife ignores the tough, silica-rich stems and roots. As a result, once bamboo escapes cultivation, nothing stops it from forming dense stands that choke out wildflowers, grasses, and even young trees. The pattern echoes what has happened in the United States, where vast tracts of woodland have been transformed into green deserts, monocultures of Philostachys that crowd out native plants and alter entire ecosystems. Studies from Georgia and the Carolinas show up to a 70% drop in native plant diversity within 5 years of bamboo taking hold. In England, the warning signs are already here. Park managers report bamboo shoots breaking through tarmac, while local authorities face mounting bills, sometimes £5,000 to £15,000 per hectare, to remove infestations from public land. The absence of natural predators means that every failed removal or neglected patch can become the next epicenter. Conservationists now fear that, without urgent intervention, England could be on the verge of its own bamboo monoculture, hidden in plain sight until the damage is too widespread to reverse. Every spring, homeowners across England reach for spades and loppers, convinced a weekend's work can keep bamboo in check. The reality is far more complicated. Cutting down the canes may clear the surface, but the real problem lies hidden. Underground, the rhizome network remains alive and restless. When these roots are sliced or left in the soil, each broken fragment becomes a new launching point. Burning the stumps or dousing them with herbicide rarely works. Heat can trigger a flush of new shoots, and chemicals often miss the deep runners. One anonymous homeowner in Kent spent months digging and spraying, only to find bamboo erupting through his patio the following year. Another tried to poison the roots, but the plant came back thicker, spreading into a neighbor's flower beds. Each failed attempt only seemed to make the problem worse, turning a manageable patch into a runaway infestation. The risks aren't just horticultural. Mistakes can lead to legal claims and expensive disputes when the plant crosses property lines. Solicitors specializing in property law warn that England's legal framework offers little real protection against bamboo's underground advance. Bamboo is not listed under the Wildlife and Countryside Act, so there is no statutory duty to control it. Most insurance policies only cover damage if the invasive plant is not pre-existing or formally classified as a risk, leaving many homeowners exposed. Policy wording varies, and some claims are denied outright if the bamboo was already present when cover began. Civil nuisance claims, like those in the Hampshire dispute, often end in private settlements, with no clear legal precedent set. Meanwhile, climate projections show the plant's viable range expanding northward as winters warm, making new regions vulnerable. Scientists expect Philostachys to thrive well beyond its current strongholds within a few decades, raising the prospect of wider, costlier disputes unless regulation catches up. England's battle with bamboo is only beginning. Each season, roots advance unseen, while regulation and awareness lag dangerously behind. The next costly outbreak could be growing beneath any garden right now. Until action matches the threat, this silent invasion remains just beneath our feet. What would you do if it surfaced?